isn't it? We're walking.
Yeah.
Siyahamba, and then waqala wakhipha isibhamu, and everybody just started running. Abanye bayale, and my friends are like running. Then one grabber, ngavele ngathuka, and I'm screaming. I'm trying to fight with lo muntu makangangithathe, because I can see now, these people are gonna take me. You know, if someone gives you pain so much, you end up not feeling pain. They rape me. There's alcohol here, unamapia in the floor. They raped me to the point that I was not even feeling a pain anymore, but in my heart was like, doesn't run up. I need to cooperate. Because now it's either these guys, when they are done doing this, they're gonna kill me here. Because I even remember while I was in that room, talking to myself and you know, when the other one, the softy one, was opening the door.
Yeah.
Okay, take.
Sister, how are you?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm good, man. Good to see you, hey?
Likewise.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay.
Yeah.
Feeling okay, yeah.
Are you not nervous?
Bit nervous, but yeah, some things had to be laid out on the table. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
Okay, I'm from Port Elizabeth, but I'm based in Johannesburg, south of Johannesburg. I stay in Lenasia South, that's the part. Yeah, I've got 3 kids. I'm married.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, that's my life. I'm just a mom with 3 kids, just trying to hustle there and there.
Yeah. You said you're married. But keep it on my love.
Yeah.
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 You look, you're even blushing. It seems like it was a very interesting event, eh?
Yeah, it was. Actually, the reason why I'm blushing, we were actually talking about it with my other friend, friend. I think we got married very quickly. I'm actually 40 years old. I got married when I was 25 years old.
Wow.
So I feel like we tend to go back and think, man, what if we're not married early? We could have been there and there and there. But it happened, and we're happy we've got beautiful kids out of that.
15 years into marriage.
Yeah, with the same person.
Wow. How is it like?
Interesting. Very nice. Very nice. It actually makes sense because now growing up, I used to look at my dad and my mom bickering. If I do happen this and this and this. And now it's happening to me. I'm the one who's complaining about the fight.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
So it's been happening for like 15 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can imagine. But maybe you are just, man. You know, men are men.
Yeah, and he gets excited when he sees me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
On TV and all of that.
Yeah.
I know he gets excited because he'll be like, it's in Tati video, even though he's like...
Yeah. Maybe you haven't told him that you love him publicly. And I'm sure he would really love to hear that.
Yeah, he would one day. He would.
I tried.
Yeah. This marriage thing, yeah. Yeah, I will tell him one day. Maybe, yeah.
Marriage is work.
It is every day.
It's work. Every day you have to work it out, you know.
Work it out, yeah.
But yeah, we're not gonna talk about marriage today.
Yeah.
We're just gonna put it aside.
Yeah.
You were telling me
that
you're from the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
Where in the Eastern Cape?
Gqeberha.
Okay.
But before you get to Gqeberha, there's a place called Port Alfred. Yes.
How was it like growing up there?
It was very interesting, very nice. It's totally different from the side because there's like these houses, there's next to the beach. Everything is just simple. And then you just come here to Johannesburg and things were different.
Yeah. So you stayed next to the beach?
And I still go there every December.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So for you, we we spend so much time without even going to the beach because my dad is from Mozambique, next to the Indian Ocean. Yeah. And I just have to wait until it's November for me to go to the beach. Even though that we've got Durban, we've got
Durban.
Cape Town and stuff like that, we
Doesn't
can always
hit the
fly there.
same.
Yeah, but for you, like so like you just open the door and the beach is like right there.
You walk, Mchan. You walk there. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Yeah,
It's a place where you actually, if you feel like it's getting too much for you in Joburg, you just go there. Then it just
but
suits
it's
you.
amazing. I'm sure when you wake up in the morning, especially when you're a child, you could hear the waves in the
Waves,
morning.
everything.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
why you're a happy person. Some of us depressed in Joburg.
yeah, hey, in the traffic lights and
Yeah.
what it's yeah, that's a place where everybody needs to go there when you actually need to unwind, yeah, and just to reflect on things.
What made you to come to Joburg?
Okay, my father, he was a miner, yeah, so and my mother, she was just like a housewife. So they decided and there's greener pastures up at Joburg, unlike the. So my mother came the side. We were staying in Krugerstop. In Krugerstop, there was a township. Funny enough, I went to shoot. I went to shoot a small series there in Manseville, so it
Yes,
reminded me where I
yeah.
grew up. Yeah, there was a small township next to Krugerstop, Manseville. So it was next to the mine. So most of the people that were working in the mines, their families were like based in that small Anyana townships.
Yeah.
And then there will be like fields of mines and whatever. So that's how they used to, yeah. And then that's how they got to come here in Joburg. And then when times were going and going, we moved to a Protea South, which is a township, Soweto,
yeah.
man, next to Boshawele,
Yeah,
all of that,
yeah.
because there's mines in, I think in Protea Clan. So my father got a transfer to another mine. So every time when you get a transfer next to the township, you actually need to move to the nearest township so you can be able to get to the shaft because of the hours that they were working.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So you stayed next to Shawela. I'm sure you had some friends there by Shawela, ne? Babulabula Shangana.
Yeah. Nasibulabula nsongo
Ah,
wakona la.
yeah.
Oh, bamngani wami na.
Yeah. Pardon me. You mentioned something very interesting. You said you shot something somewhere, a series. Are you an actor?
No, I do background acting, featured, extra, yeah, just for part-time.
Do you want to do it full time at some point?
At some point, yeah, I'm still thinking
You want to
about
be a
it.
superstar, actually.
I would love to be a superstar, but I think the age.
Yeah.
Yeah, the age, but being in front of the camera and everything is quite interesting, and getting to read the script and just getting to be in someone else, to be someone else just for a few minutes and then
come back.
It's just like a little bit of an escape.
Yeah. Interesting, eh?
Yes.
Let's talk about why you're here. You got kidnapped.
Yes.
In Joburg South. What happened?
Sure. All right. It's actually my first time talking about this in this kind of a setup, but I'm glad that I'm actually happy that I'm giving this kind of a platform so I can, maybe I will reach someone that have reached this similar situation in terms of the things that are happening now, currently in our society. Okay, what happened is I was a young lady, bubbly.
Yeah.
Yes, I am right now.
Yeah.
Yes, so I had like my 3 friends, which was Joyce and Jeanette. Like, you know how townships are. Like in all your shacks, you get to have these long streets, the shack, and then ngabo 6, 7, 5 sebaqala bakhipha imbawo la, they're making fire. The street is busy because most of the people are coming from work and everything. So it was December time. You know how it gets December time. The streets are up and down. So without knowing, I walk with my friends, 3 of my friends. I was actually at home. So 2 of my friends, they're like, hi, Skape, Sthunyiwe, we need to go so thenga ikhandlela in some shop. Okay? And I was a well-known child, because being is Papela Vele. So my friend came, asambeni, three of them. I was walking in the middle. From endlini, ngiyapuma. I didn't tell my mom. My mom was in the kitchen. So you know how shacks are, then gune kitchen, and then there's another part that's separate.
Yeah.
So I was just watching TV, and then I stand up, and then I go with my friends. Then boom, we go out of the yard, and then we going straight to the main road, like everything is happening. We walking and walking, chatting. Siyapapelana. Hey, how are you? What? Was ukuthengelani for Christmas and all of that. Just chatting. Haibo, suddenly, halfway before we get to the shop, suddenly a car, like these old model cars, babies are called, like those old school cars. Yeah, it was a blue car, I still remember. Then there was a guy on the passenger seat, and then there was a driver. And then three of us, I'm in the middle. We're walking and talking. Haibo, suddenly, the guy that is in the passenger seat comes. We are Puma. He approaches us. Ukhipha ispam. Mangikhipha ispam, and then I start screaming. And then people are like running. That I don't know how to call it in English, but it just felt like everybody just ran. As I was trying to run, and my friends were also trying to run, then they ran. And then this other guy just hold me with my jersey. Then I look at this guy, and then I think, man, this guy looks kind of familiar. So I'm trying to fight with Bangantati because I could see the guy on the passenger seat. Ufunuvula imoto, the back, in the back of the car. Ufunuvula imoto. That's when I realized, good time, man. Ivula imoto, these people are like taking me away. I screamed for my life.
Where are your friends?
Everybody ran because this guy came out holding a gun. Isn't it we walking?
Yeah.
Siyahamba, and then waqala wakhipha ispam, and everybody just started running. Abanye bayale, and my friends are like running. Then one grabber. At that point, like ngavele ngathuka, and I'm screaming. I'm trying to fight ukuthi lo muntu makangangithathi because I can see now ukuthi these people are gonna take me. This guy angishaye ngespam in the head. Like, bah. Then that's where I got unconscious. I still have that scar. Like it's not a scar, but my skull, it's just, there's a hole there. Like you can tell my skull is just, hence I can never be able to have a chiscop because my head will be shaved.
It will be exposed, yeah.
Yes. Hi, yeah. Damn. Collapsed. That's when they managed to take me at that point. Ngifake eback seat, sengihleli nalo muntu eback seat. Ngiphaphame ngihleli nalo muntu eback seat. I don't know how did I get there. Right, I go. Suthi ke le moto is speedy off at that time. So, I'm not sure, but when my friends are telling me what they did is they ran back home to tell my mom what's happening, and the people in the community. Remember, Protea South at that time, it was a very small community. Yeah. So if something happens, everybody will just know it at that point. Then there were these people, community, what, we, I don't know what they call them. These people in the morning, patrol. Yes. And then they started having a meeting with there's a girl child that has been kidnapped.
Yeah.
There's a girl child. They were letting other patrollers on the other side. So they flew out. I was unconscious, but I could feel the car like moving. I'm flying. I shy izule. Then I think I was in a house that was next to a Rockville. Because I remember after this whole thing happened, I did run to the house that was right after Rockville, and then ngacela ukuthi when I got there was like ngacela ukuthi please take me to the police station. This is what has happened. They could just tell. Okay. Yahamba imoto. So when I was like collapsed there, so I think they were trying to wake me up and whatever. One other guy was smoking a cigarette. So while he was smoking, he kept on dumping the cigarette in my skin. That's when I was like
on your thighs?
On my thighs. I've got burns.
Just so that you can wake up.
So I can wake up. So literally the guy was burning me so I can wake up.
That's crazy though.
Then the guy bent me. Then ngavuka. The pain. Then stuck. Remember, this happened 6. Sibuzoba mnyama vele, and then it's getting dark. We get to this house. This house, you can tell, there's no one that stays there. It's a house, it's a house that maybe is out so you know these houses that you get so to sometimes which buy a local is out so indlu or something like that, but there was no furniture and whatever like that. Then there was no bed there. There was something that they laid on the floor like it was some kind of a blanket.
Okay.
By 2. The guys are intoxicated, very intoxicated. Then the other one takes 10. It's time now for them to do the job, fella. They didn't bring me that far for nothing. First one rapes me. Remember, I've never been with a man in my life. I've never been with a man in my life. Because I grew up and my father was very, very, very strict. You see, so so I used to have this thought of the fako emfuleni because it put us up there was this belt like so I used to think my dad will put me inside the bag and put me there emhlangeni. So I was scared of poison so much. Okay, we're in this house now. These guys are taking turns raping me. You know, if someone gives you pain so much, you end up not feeling pain. They rape me. There's alcohol here, kunamapia in the floor. So they're taking turns to rape me. And I'm thinking, akna condom, apa, akna nix. They just destroyed me. They raped me to the point that I was not even feeling a pain anymore, but in my heart was like, yazindon up. I need to cooperate. Because now it's either these guys, when they are done doing this, they're gonna kill me here. They're gonna kill me here. Taking turns to rape me. Bahambe bayothenga utywala. Ndiyakhiyela apha. Thema bephuma bayothenga utywala. To try and phakame to check the windows. It's locked. You know that house, I don't know, as that house, even to try to open the window, it's like yindlu nje that was meant for a person not to go out, because you could actually try to open a window. Nothing. They go out, they leave me, I'm trying to escape. There's no escape. There's beers on the floor. For the first time in my life, I lift up a bottle of a beer. I tried just to drink it so I could. I don't know what I was planning to do, but I just felt like I was thirsty, no water, no anything there. So I was just trying to maybe get myself intoxicated, not to feel anything and whatsoever. And then they come back. When they come back, another one keeps on saying, yeah, Baba Kevelia Skoloda, and all of that. So I'm thinking, because my father was a person that was doing dodgy things, like Begui supervisor, he will take people's money and promise them to give them jobs. Till today, it was never confirmed ukuthi ababantu abaya, because the family tried to talk to him to get the answers. So it never got to the point at the avum uba, okay, whatever this happened, watata imali ababantu abayana or whatsoever. They took turns to rape me. It goes on and on for fun. They will light cigarette, put them in my body. I'll cry. They will burn me in my body with cigarette or for fun. That's when I think I collapsed. So I don't know what they were trying to do to burn me or whatsoever. I woke up with burn scars in my body. So the other one was speaking to him. Manje, I think so is kati siyofuna omunye. Meaning that they were going to go and search for another girl.
So these people, they're speaking Zulu.
They're speaking in Zulu. And that Zulu akona is that Zulu that, you know, the Lokshin Zulu, you could tell these people are dangerous. It's either babuya at jail or something, because they kept on, you know, saying these slangs that were like scaring me, because I was like, hey, Ababandaba, they look like they're from jail. So I need to try and cooperate. So I could actually hear them arguing, both of them. I beg, like in my heart, I was like praying and saying, God, I hope they don't kill me. They can just do anything. I just hope. You know, I wasn't even praying. Okay. It took long. Sekusekuseni manje. It's okay, maybe ekuseni bazondiyeka. No. Ujonga ngaphandle, you can tell ukuthi hayi manje sekusemini manje. They come back. Sihleli nabo la. Munye uthi ayasimiyeke lo mntana. I think the other one had like, I don't know, had a soft heart nyana. Asimxolele, and the other one wathi hayi lo mntana lona uzosibophisa lo whatever. The other one was more worried ukuthi they will get arrested. You see. So it gets late now. It gets very late. They go out, they come back. So when they come back, probably they spoke ukuthi hayi sesifuna ukuphuma somewhere manje. Sisi, thandaza. So I'm thinking, yo, thandaza ndithini nizonibulala, and I'm begging to them ukuthi cela ninganibulali man. These things happen. Nani maybe beningaplananga ukwenza lento. The thing, I think I've learned from that day to negotiate.
So you had to negotiate with them?
Yes, I think I've learned from that day to negotiate.
What did you say?
I remember telling them, it's okay guys, ngizohlala la, sengijwayele already. So ningangibulali. You can always go wherever you're going. Nilale nam, if nifuna ulala nam. And then this is gonna be how it is.
This is how we can work things out.
Yes, I won't tell anybody. I'm already used to this. And futhi nakhona, I would love to have a bath. Manganzisela mans. Never. So the other one looks at this one. It's seriously, I won't tell anybody. I know that you are good people, and isn't this ganje siyenzeka? Yo, I felt myself crying there. And I was crying. And the other one began to go, why are you crying? Anytime, man. I'm crying just because I know deep down inside, you're gonna let me go and life will go on, you know? I think that's when God entered in that house. Because the other one was sure. I was like, yeah, I'm sure. They go out. Then I'm shaking in the corner. I'm busy shaking in the corner because in that room you could tell I was not the first one that was there.
Oh, snap. So you can see maybe there's like shoes or
There's
something.
shoes, there's braids,
Ah, man.
there's like kunane bra. You can tell ukuthi hayi baninzi abantu bebeza apha. I'm not the first one. Blood stains. And that house. Have you watched a horror movie? Have you seen those houses there?
Yeah.
Because there was even like you could tell there was a person that ebibambe ebondeni with the hand, and then there's a blood hand there. Then they came back and they let me out. That's when I knew that there was God. But I was so angry at God at that time, Gucci. Not that I wish that my friend were part of this, but I was like, why why did God like avumi ngami? Because I even remember while I was in that room talking to myself and ndithi Thixo uba uyandithanda uzandikhupha kule ndawo, uzandikhupha ndiphila mna apha kule ndawo. And to think on that month there was news ukuthi kunomntana olahlekileyo, kunobani bani abalahlekile abafumaneki. And I was thinking, man, maybe these guys were the reason why bekulahleka abantwana, okanye kuthiwa kunomzimba otholiweyo womuntu omfazi endaweni so. And to this day, I'm 100% convinced that those guys were
the guys that were committing all those crimes.
Exactly. Went out. Manvumela bamaniphume. When the other one, the softy one, was opening the door.
Yeah.
But okay, take.
I
don't have shoes. I'm not wearing any.
You are naked.
I'm naked. For the first time in my life, I was not worried about being naked in front of the people. I have no shoes. Okay, I'm bleeding. I'm bent in my body. I need medical attention. So I could feel. Remember, while I was there, those hours I was not eating. I was not doing anything. My mind is just thinking, go to my mom. My mom mutina pekon. The community already is buzzing. I think the other one, Waifuna, I think another lady that was a counselor, ufuna ukya ngazi Jose FM whatever. I don't know whether he reached there or what. Then I go out. I run in the street. So about 7, 8.
In the evening.
The next day. And then I look at people by and then uyagula whatever. And to people it doesn't even register ukuthi lo muntu. I was like, my body was covered with blood most of the time. I ran to this house. I knocked. I cried. I knocked. Send a police station. Please give me a blanket or anything. And remember, that was winter then. Tate banikeke ingubo banbuza ukuthi what happened. Ndibaxelela uba what happened. I need to get to a police station. I'm worried that my parent might be worried about me.
Yeah.
Yo. I don't have a phone. I don't have anything on me. And at that time, Pela, my phones, we were not allowed to have phones as teenagers. And get to the police station. Likely, I got amaphoyisa that were very, very nice. I remember another police woman because when I got to that house, they just gave me ikyali, like, those polar fleece blankets. Then utata khona wandihambisa police station, Moroka police station. That's when I got to realize with Simon, from that house that I was in, running to another area, It was not such a long distance. And then from that house to a police station, it was not a long distance. That's how I got to write a statement. Good time. And I was around this area. Mansenbala,
I'm a kilometers.
I'm a
Yeah.
kilometers. All right. At that point, I was not in my good state of mind for them to write a statement and whatever. I just needed to get to the hospital as soon as possible. Then mangifika laphana, another police officer wathi ucela ukuya endlini for a few minutes. Wangibuyela ney'mpahla. Remember, I cannot bath, I cannot do anything. I need to wear the clothes. Ngiye ebhara. Mangiye ebhara, okay, I went through the medical procedure whereby they give you those pills, they check you, they take all the evidence. Then I had to go to a burn unit. I needed to be admitted. We burn unit because half of my body was burned. I don't know, when at that time while I was still there, they were trying to get rid of getting rid of my body, or how, because the burn degrees on my body were like too much. Till this day. Sorry.
No stress.
Till this day, there's clothes that I cannot wear because I don't not like I don't want to expose my scars. I just don't. I feel like tired of explaining of what happened.
You also don't want to look at the scars and
Yes,
remind
yes.
you of what happened.
Yes, I see them every day.
Yeah.
It's just that thing of like sekumele explaining ukuthi hayi ngasho how kanjani.
Now you have to explain it.
Yes, now I have to. Yes, I'm at a point whereby I'm comfortable in my scars already, but it triggers now and then, especially when I saw this story of this girl that was poured with an acid.
Yeah.
So the Ben Woods, they like they take me back. They make me emotional, because as much as you wanna close the chapter of things that happen, there's always gonna be reminders. Just like now, I was taking a bath next to my daughter, and my daughter was like, "Mama, what pa? Hi, Mama, ndalimala." Kanjani, you know how they are.
Yeah, they
An
ask
8-year-old.
questions, eh? Yeah.
Yes, the 8-year-old. So, yeah, I had to go to a burn unit. They treat the burn wounds. Then I start losing my mind. I start losing touch with reality.
Trauma.
They take me to a mental health ward. Couldn't sleep. I stayed there a month with sleeping pills, injection. I was sedated all the time before I sleep because I couldn't sleep. I will sleep, then I'll scream like these people. As soon as I closed my eyes, they were like,
yeah.
As soon as I closed my eyes, they were like.
I'm trying to understand the feeling, because most of the people that I've spoken to on this podcast who have been raped, they sort of experience the same thing. A day after they are rescued and they come back, they start seeing things. It's like their mind is telling them you are still at the same place again.
My brother, I think your mental state, I don't know how to say this, but I think mentally your mind is still in that state of being frightened.
Yeah. Because
remember, when you are there, you're asking yourself about how peel. I mean, I don't know about them, but with me, I was like thinking, what is how peel? This alpha, and then you start hating God. I hated God like so much. Why me? I had so many plans for myself. I was a bright student. I went, okay, my father's boss took me to good schools. I was in Townview High School. I had beautiful dreams.
Yeah.
That day, they just
switched off, all of them.
Yeah. to think that I went and stay in a mental state for 1 month to 3 months without knowing who I am. Without knowing who I am, you just lose touch with reality. I lost touch with reality and like being up and down. 1 minute you say pen unit, I'm going to clean the wounds. 1 minute I'm with the psychologist. 1 minute I'm with the trauma counselor. 1 minute I'm taking loads and loads of pills to try and survive. There was a point that I was like, God, I think it's just too much.
The pain is a lot.
It's a lot.
Besides the pain of you being raped, but also the after pain.
The after pain.
Of you trying to come back and trying to heal.
3 months. Okay, now I have to pill. I can't stay in Para forever. I have to go and...
So they took you where? To Paraguay Hospital?
To Paraguay Hospital. I stayed in a pen unit. I went to Ward 65, whatever, mental, because they said I suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, major depression. Then I have to now, no school. I was still in like Senzo in my high school. Planes, everything. I remember being good with computers and whatever. So coming back there, and then I remember asking one of my doctors, let's see, I forgot everything about my life. I forgot everything. Then they started explaining to me that it also the wound in your head affected most of the things. So you need to, start over trying to remember things. If you've seen somebody in amnesia and then you started asking Nomaguza somebody from the house, you know that you know this person, but everything is just too slow. You're trying to remember. Everything is just going so slow. Then I go back to my community. Stigma comes now. Ule amtana wa rape. Ule amtana wa rape. Ule amtana wa rape. Yo. Now remember the story was huge, Pela. It was like gupi. Oh God, I couldn't even go and buy kota. Because now they're like, I actually begged my mom. I don't want to stay here anymore. I don't want to stay in this place anymore. We moved. It was just too much. Dropped off. Like a school and I couldn't cope. I didn't want school. Dropped off. We moved to a different area that got better.
Sorry, you mentioned something. So you dropped out from school.
Yeah.
When was this? Was it February? Maybe was it June by any chance?
Remember by the time that I had to go back to school, January, February, I couldn't go. March, I couldn't go. Then I tried Pago March to go back, but it was not working for me.
How old were you?
17,
18.
Yeah.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
But you're still a teenager, ne?
Still a teenager.
And I'm sure you were a very good-looking teenager and bright.
Very bright in Papa Gakul. I remember I was a prefect in this Townview High School, white dominant schools.
Just by looking at your smile, you can actually tell the kind of kid that you were.
Yeah, they robbed me big time.
Ah, man.
Yeah, they robbed me big time. I had planes.
So all of that light switched off when there was just darkness.
All of that just changed. Now you have to deal with having anger issues. You change. You completely be a bad, I wouldn't say a bad person. You become a new person in your own body. You start having anger. You start to not. So yeah, you start to hate people. I'm sorry to say that. I started hating people. Because remember, I had this traumatic experience. I go back to the community, I'm being judged. Yeah, I vele, bamrapile, da, 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 da. It's like it's just too much. And then I go back. Everywhere I go, I just felt like this thing was like following me, being pelelwa and easier to be around people and all of that. It took so many years of therapy. I mean, when I say years, remember I was still getting into my teenagers, kwaphela, and then all of my life I was spending in my hospitals, going there, seeing this trauma counselor, going there. It broke me so much. So now, with the help of the therapy, I won't lie, help of therapy, medication and counseling, groups, support groups of people that went through the same thing.
Prayer groups as well.
Prayer groups, going to church. It helped.
Were you going to church?
Yes, I was going to church. So, a Universal Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were very supportive, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were very supportive. And then I started getting close to God. And I was like, it was supposed to happen. If it happened, it happened. I can't blame you, God.
And you had to go through a process of forgiving God because of what happened to you.
And then I started forgiving myself because I was like blaming myself so much. Maybe it was the way I was dressed, or it was the way ngoba vele being papa. I don't know. So I started forgiving myself. Tried to get these bridges courses. And then I also tried to go back and do computers just to remind myself. I picked myself up. I stood and then I picked myself up. That's when I met my partner. He helped me out. We went through this. Together. He helped me out a lot. My family, yeah.
How are you feeling now?
Yeah, like opening a can of worms. I feel sad now. Reason why I feel sad, you will never understand. I don't think there a person that can understand how much rape, kidnapping, like all those crimes, all those petty crimes, they make an effect to a person.
Yeah.
It destroys you. Till today, when I walk, if there's someone that is walking behind me, do you know that I can sense? I just like, because till today, I don't want someone that is walking behind me. Yeah. I hate that.
I feel uncomfortable.
I feel uncomfortable. So with the crime rate that is here in South Africa, and I feel sad for the victims. Even though the resources are there, but those things leave permanent wounds in the heart. As a woman now, I'm a mother of girls. I don't let my baby to just go and play whatever. I get so angry, especially in my community. I get so angry. Umama kuthiwa angithi there is this WhatsApp groups. Kunomntana wentombazana. Kuthiwa umntana kabani whatever. I start to hate that woman. I remember this other woman was like in the same street. Dithi umyeka njani umntana wentombazana ade afakwe abizwe izinto. It brings permanent scars, and it you as a person, it changes you. It changes you. So that's how it goes. But in the end of the day, I'm a happy mom. I do beautiful things for myself. I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very proud of myself.
It's good to learn
Yes.
from a person who has been raped, just to understand the pain that they are feeling. It's not a pain that they felt when they were raped or kidnapped, but it's a pain that comes and goes. And even though therapy would help you, but it seems like therapy helps you to manage the pain.
Mm.
And sometimes these people, these criminals, they're not even aware of what they're doing because they're giving you a scar. Maybe down there, they're giving you a scar in your heart. They're also giving you a scar in your mind. And that scar, you have to carry it your entire life. Because that thing, you cannot undo it.
Can't.
The damage has already been done. And it takes time. It's like a glass of water. If you drop it, it's gonna take time for you to put it together. You have to take it to the factory. They need to bend it and stuff like that, then build it, rebuild it again. And it's something that only God can do.
Only God can do.
That's a testimony.
It is a big one. A big one. A big one. It is a testimony, a big one, because, I mean, waking up from picking yourself up out of this whole this whole situation, it's very hard. Because remember, after doing that, okay, kube nama court case, you need to face the person. Okay, mina, there was one guy, another one, but he passed on already. So there was that softy guy, I think he passed on or something, Maichi lawyer yam. Then I was left with this hard one. And then you forget this pain, and then come a court day. And then you still have to
face the person.
The person again. And then I remember one time I got so angry in court. Because remember, these people, they also have their lawyers, Pela. And then I hear this lawyer trying to, I don't know, I cannot say he was trying to defend him or whatever, but just by talking, that lawyer language, you don't have to go to a legal school to know that, but I could hear ukuthi man, lo mntu lo uyamthethelela Moscow.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to.
Yes.
They're not denying what they.
Yes.
But they're trying to dilute.
They're diluting. Yeah. And I was like, I got look, lawyer, you cannot do that. You can never do that. I felt the pain. You can never do that to me. I remember like that time, because you were being told, okay, gonna translate or whatever. I remember even trying to stop this woman with translating, which, you know what, now I think just wait, I need to take out whatever that is inside me. I need to speak it up. Because I remember saying, you guys, I thank you. I remember talking to this guy face to face, and he'd say, I thank you for saving my life, but you destroyed it. This is not going to make me feel better. You took everything. You took my teenage years. I remember like a judge trying to say, Judge, you don't understand. You're a woman also. Probably you have a girl child. Can you let me? I need to take this thing out. And after doing that, I made peace. After going out of that court, I made peace. Because I feel like not speaking to the person who have done me wrong was the reason that was delaying my healing. After I went out from that high court, I felt okay. God, you took away everything. Today, I'm a person that is getting frightened. I couldn't, if someone was even holding a glass and like, till this day, I still take anxiety pills.
Sure.
So I also think somehow also the justice system as well, it's failing us somehow as victims, because they'll have these ways of trying to also make it feel like being raped was also your
Part of your plan is
you're
like
part of your plan, you being guilty for that. I'm like,
it's like you
my
wanted
guy.
that as
Yeah,
well.
no.
You allowed them.
Yes. So yeah. I felt like you one of the day that I wake up and then ngivula TV and then I see that the laws of rape are being changed. I'll be very happy because I feel like us as victims, we're being robbed.
You get to court and you look at them. You look into their eyes. What do you see?
The perpetrator, like the person.
Yeah.
No remorse at all. No remorse at all. I remember being called. Was a court. I myself was like, "Ikot yani." Ikot yani. Because like the system failed us. Because to think that there's also like small kids that go through the same thing. Abangakhoni ukuzikhulumela or abanye abantu phela we not built the same. Khona umuntu uzobona i-perpetrator athuke. You know, and then there's people that I was like, yo, ayintwana ungilimazile, but why? You know, because there was a time that I was like, why, Mara? Why? Like, ungaze ungishaye ngesibhamu, why bongangidonsi kahle? Why bongishisa? Ungishiseleni? Bongishiselani? Why bongishisa? Why? And then ngiphinde ngihleke nje ngiyi-one ngithi at least they saved their face. Yeah, so yeah, it's life. You see, I am now. Yeah.
Did you finally get the justice that you always wanted?
Yes.
So they went to jail.
They went to jail.
They were sentenced to how many years?
I don't still remember because that time on the may say, but I think we 5.
5 years.
Only 5 years. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Right?
That's not enough. Hence, I'm saying the justice system has failed us.
So ever since then, you've never seen them again?
Never. Never.
What do you think is wrong with men? Is it a criminal mindset? Or maybe there's just something wrong? Because who in their mind would just rock up out of nowhere, pull out a gun, take a girl, amfake butini, or maybe at the back seat, and then take her to some old house, mafika lapha yamrape, and then make her his own slave? Later on, release the girl. Like, who does that? Is it for pleasure? I mean, like, umuntu if maybe uyakufuna kumele akushele asebenze. Yeah, why don't you just
nasemathaveni?
Why do you want to do it by force?
Not saying mama basemathaveni.
100%.
What I know, what I saw there, these people were angry. Lo usofty bayimamela lo kakhulu. So lo, that guy was angry. Yabona, I don't know whether he's still alive or kanjani. I wish le anger anayo man. I hope wife man I help yayo. He was very angry. Because the time that he was busy raping me, angithi niyachoma, masinishela, what. Ninabafazi nizinja. You could see ukuthi this person was angry. Maybe a hidden agenda. So, I don't know. He was a very angry person.
Usho ukuthi yena uyashela and then abamfuni and then he keeps it in his heart.
Yes, he had hate for a woman. Like, ebebazonda abantu abangomama.
That's crazy though. That's insane.
Yes. And after that, after my rape and whatever, mase sekwenziwa ke ama research nomsearch lo muntu bekaphethe icase. Angithi they come, they get you ready, prepared to go to court because my case was now going to high court.
Yeah.
Yeah. the rape cases after that, they skyrocketed. Zabaninzi eSoweto. Zabaninzi after eSoweto. After this whole...
What's happening in Soweto, man? Hey, this is just a lot, man.
Yo, but after that, it got so much. At that point, not like now, people are being killed now.
Yeah.
At that point, like at that season, the rape cases were like skyrocketing. Because they were like, I remember, but there's these people that draw Batimandize police station. So, because they really need to get these people, buzz out, draw, wish, and about describe and whatever. And then I declined. I couldn't go.
Because now it's going to be very difficult for you, because now you have to close your
I couldn't.
eyes and think
Picture, yes.
that you're seeing this person. That can actually make you go crazy. Eh?
And then they were like, okay, describe the car again, at least. Then that's how they got them.
I'm sorry about what happened to you, my sister.
Yeah, it's life.
Yeah, it's life.
It's life. It happened.
Yeah, what they did to you was wrong.
Yeah, they robbed my teenage years.
Yes.
Yeah, they robbed. But I'm happy that they spared my life. Yeah. They spared my face and my life. I'm happy, and sometimes I'm glad. I don't know how this is going to sound, but sometimes I'm glad that I went through that situation, because it made me a stronger person I am today. I mean, I can fight for myself. I can defend myself in situation la ngibona khona ukuthi no. I can also advocate for other women, especially in my community. I do small things. If there's small things that is there, I gather girls around. Let's do this. Don't play in the street. Do this. So it made a good impact.
Just in closing, do you think women are safe now?
No. Now it's even worse. Because remember, kunama social media, there's things that are happening. Kunama hookups. GBV is getting worse day by day. Partners killing each other. It's getting worse by the day. I think somebody in the politics or we in the law enforcement, they need to do something, because I can actually see it escalating. It's getting more and more and more. And these perpetrators, they're getting it way easy. They're getting it very easy. There's a program that I did where we go to my correctional service and do programs trying to upskill them, and
it's not working, right?
It's not working. It's not working, because I don't say that they need to be more punished or whatever, but they're getting it very easy. Hence, most of the time, uzoza ukuthi hayi uzibanibani ureyipile wake waphuma ejele waphinde wareyipa futhi, or uzibanibani uke wabulala umuntu waphinde uyabona.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are trying, but I don't think the method that they're using it's working. Because abantu baphuma pha bekwatile and then bahlangane nobuyisa bakhipheli enga yabo, then they start over what they were doing. Yeah.
No, my sister, I'm so sorry about what happened to you. I'm happy that you got justice, even though I felt like they could have at least got 15 years, 20 years, you know. I'm sure they're going to watch this. And they must be very much aware. I'm sure Abu Baba, Maj, if maybe they haven't passed on, and they will see what they did to you. the stuff that they stole from you, stole your peace. That's something that cannot be replaceable so easy.
Yes.
But I'm happy that you are able to be brave enough to share your story with us. And most importantly, I'm happy that you are able to smile.
Yeah.
You know, healing takes time. You just
Takes time.
Yeah,
It takes
you
time.
just mentioned that you're still drinking pills. Even
Yes, yeah, it takes time. It took years for me to even get the smile back. And for a person to even say, I forgive them, it takes a lot of work, a lot of work.
Ngiyabonga, sis wami.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Okay.
Thank you.